So at this point we will need to start lining things out to bring them out. Now you have to think about this, what you want to use to line out. If you don't like a black outline on the illustration, so like this one, then you would have to use whatever you prefer. It could be a more like a skin colored maybe pencil, or yeah, I mean, it really depends what you like to do with it from this point. But what I'm going to do is use my platinum carbon ink fountain pen. This is a very fine point, and also it's got a water resistant ink in there, so waterproof, which means I would be able to use watercolor on top of it if I wanted to. So firstly, we're going to start so here, just start with the neck, and then basically I am connecting the two parts together like so, and where the waist is, again I'm connecting them and leaving a little waist here. Same thing on this side. I'm just continuing my line, coming in and out, and the same here. So those are my arms. Same thing with the legs. So like that. This is the part where you can exaggerate lines if you wanted to. And I will then decide what I'm doing here. So I'm going to give them all like a 50s swimsuit look, just so that it's easier to dress them quickly, and just focus on the body shape. So this is one. Now you have to think which is the leg that you want to be going in the front and which is the leg you want to go in the back. So let's say I want this leg to be in the foreground, then I will start with it. And then this leg now goes in the background, so that means I am not lining out every single bit of it, but just doing this like that. And then with this body, we have got the bust area. So the calf muscle, I can then exaggerate at the back. And then this leg. goes like that. You could also raise them higher, these lines, if you wanted to. And then in terms of the arm, think of where the elbow is situated, like that. And like that. Here is a bit of a ballerina or like a dancing, moving doll. So again, I'm going to start by doing the bust first. And a small bum attached to it. Like that. So here we have this leg, and then this one, like that. So there you go. So what I would do, just to finish off quickly in terms of dressing them, is just give them a very simple outfit. Well, we already done that, but just use your favorite colors. It could be a red, it could be a black. I'm going to go with this lovely black. And for the legs, or for the feet rather, these ballerina pumps, I'm just going to also make them nice and black. So keep in mind, back in the 50s, the wasp waist was really fashionable. So if you wanted to create a bigger waist, all you need to do is just connect these lines and make it wider. So like this, for instance, you could make it even bigger. Just add a bit of the line here on the hip, like that. So we went from a wasp waistline to a slightly wider. Again, you can have the, variety that you wish. You can make it bigger, smaller, and just do whatever feels good for you. And so that is a simple way of just doing a few postures here, so you can hopefully see now. So here it would have made sense actually to put the leg the other way around. So like here, for instance, I think that's a little bit confusing there, but other than that, you can see that one leg goes behind the other, and there's loads of different ways to create more postures. But that is it. From this point, you would need to use some sort of watercolor or pencils, whatever you would want to do to create a skin color. So I can quickly show you easy ways of dealing with that. So I thought I will pull out a few different mediums and show you what you can do. This is sort of like wet medium related. I'm just looking at this one here. So I have a liquid watercolor, so the Ecoline in pink beige. I have for the watercolor we'll use Schmincke Light Ochre. I will also use Winsor Newton Designer Gouache, and this is a pale rose blush, recently added, and I absolutely love this color. It's just so beautiful. It's just a beautiful color to use in art in general, not just for a Caucasian skin tone, but just it's a gorgeous color on its own. I'll show it to you in a quick swatch here. So that's this color here. And then I will also show you a Rowney FW acrylic ink in burnt umber. So this is for a darker skin tone, and we'll have different skin tones going here. So let's start with the watercolor first. I'll try to find a clean dish. I have a bit of color here from a previous session. That's fine, I'll just need a little tiny bit. I would advise to use a smaller brush for this size of a project. And I would go with Princeton 4. So here we go. So for watercolor, just think about your highlights and think about your darkest areas. So where would you, if you had light, where would it be? And where would be the shadows? So the part of the body that's away from the light source. So something like that. You can use a bit more water. You can lift color sometimes if you think you put too much there. So something like that, and then on top you could go over with, say, some colored pencils or something like that, just to give it some more dimension. So that's one option. Then in terms of a gouache paint, I'm just going to go in straight from the tube. So gouache paint is a good one because it's got more opacity, and if you wanted to cover those inked up lines that didn't work for us, then you know, paint of this nature would be a good choice. So that's gouache. And then let's do this one, I'll leave this one for the darker skin tone, and then you need the smallest amount of it because it's just enough. Okay, and then finally then just use a clean brush to get the paint move out a bit so that you still get like a highlighted area there, but not the white of the paper, because it just would look a little bit too much of a contrast with the darker color. So that's basically a very quick way of doing it. I'll maybe show you how to shadow this color or this watercolor on top of it, because it came out looking a bit too yellow for a skin tone. So my favorite pencil trio that I go to when I want to create skin tone shadowing is Derwent drawing pencils in terracotta, light sienna and Mars orange. And basically I start with a bit of Mars orange. Make sure your watercolor is fully dry at this point. You also need your pencil to be super sharp because we're working with really small areas here. And we're going to start shadowing a little bit. Then I start going with a lighter color over it and through blending the edging. It's a very smooth pencil. I mean, I keep saying that if Derwent came out with a wider range of colors, it would be like a dream come true. They still only have the 24, I think, of the colors. So you can see now the body starts to get a bit more dimension and shape. So it's up to you how much work you want to get it done, whether you want to be like one and done, or you want to just work a little bit on the layering. So here I'm going to go in with a darker color still. Oop. And just add it in a few areas where I want to create a bit of a dimension, a bit more depth. So for instance, on the knees I probably would want a bit more darker color. And then just again using the lighter color, blending out. So that's it. Let's see, I might just extend it like that. Okay, so there you go. That's, you know, different ways of doing that part. And here actually with this darker color I could create some lovely dimension on the darker skin. It works really beautifully. So let me just do that real quick. I'm basically just drawing a line on where I think it could be the darkest because of the light source. So like that. And then instead of going with the lighter, I would go with the second color to blend it out, because we want to maintain the darkness of the skin rather than start lightening it. And then the lighter color could be used as a highlight source. So for instance, I'll show you. I just go here as well. So if I wanted, like on the back of her leg here, a bit more light, I could then use the lighter color just to suggest the light is coming through the top of her arm, the back, right here. So there you go. And again, use this color. Oh, I used the wrong color. I was going to say use the second color to lighten things up. Anyways, we can now blend it in like that. So then I would extend this if I wanted to get rid of that lighter color on the main part of her leg. Just going to use the darker pencil. Then to bring in the intensity back, add a bit more of the darker color and just keep on blending basically, so you don't have any drastic color changes. So there you go. So you can see you can create dimension or just leave it flat as you want it and make it a quicker way of illustrating, but you can definitely create some lovely highlights and, you know, 3D kind of look to them. So that's it for today. I would leave it at that, and then in the next one we will kind of create some outfits for them and dress them and bring the hat together and the whole illustration together. So see you then.